What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Nod coming to you live and direct. I know I'm a little late. It was supposed to have been uploaded early Friday. I ran into a bunch of setbacks and just kind of had me off my square. So I apologize to everybody that's out there listening, everybody that support me. I was supposed to have a guest on. My guest canceled on me. But you know how the saying goes, the show must go on. It was a little deflating because like I tell y'all, I want to bring y'all as much good content and conversation as possible. So, but with that being said, I want to send a special shout out to all the people that's been supporting me, all the people that's been showing me love. Special shouts out for Turtle for doing the show last week, making the show incredible, just being him. And to anybody that come on the show, I just want to let y'all know, anybody can come on the show, and I just want you to be yourself. We ain't trying to put on no show. We ain't trying to, act. We just want to have a regular conversation the way you would talk with your boys or your homegirls or whatever the case may be. I also want to send some shouts out to Annie Up. He family. Support him. He's a rapper. So look him up. Annie Up out of the Chicago area. I want to send a special shout out to the Black Pearl Boutique. That's my sis. She stay on her grind. Outstanding mother, outstanding businesswoman, entrepreneur. Support her if you're in the Nashville area. I also want to send a special shout out to Blessed Transportation and the homie Jay. Solid dude. Really on his grind. Really trying to make a difference. So we just want to support people that's out here doing their thing and also people that support, you. I'm always shout out people that got love for me. And, that's the main thing with me is just support, like, overall. Well, today, the topic is going to be time in the How Much series. Time is something I took for granted, when I was younger. I often tell my kids right now, just understanding how things go and how this life is, I remember being younger and just like, man, I can't wait till I'm 16. Or I can't wait till I'm 18. Or I can't wait till I'm grown, or I can't wait till this, blah, 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 blah. All along wishing my life away. Chasing something that ain't as grand as I thought it would be. I tell my kids all the time, like, look, you got 18 years to be a kid and you got the rest of your life to be grown. And when you talk to people often, most people ain't trying to be grown. They would, if you talk to people and they being real, everybody I've ever talked to want to go back to that time as opposed to now. They want to go back to a simpler time or a time when responsibility was less, blah, blah, blah. So that just made me want to do the topic on time. It's a lot of nostalgia. I see it in the dress. I see the way people dress, and I see the way my sons and them dressing, the way we dressed in the 80s and 90s, trends and fashion and different things coming on back around. And so I just want to talk about all things time related, A wise woman told me that if money don't do nothing else, it buys you time. And at the time, I'm like, money buy you time? Like, well, what that mean? Like, money don't buy you time. But then, shouts out to Tea Time. But then when they broke it down to me, she was like, no, I don't buy you time, but it give you the ability to do the things you want and not have to be on the clock. Meaning, when you got money and you want to get the new car, but you need to work for a year to build your credit or whatever the case may be, money affords you that ability to do that now. So it just, you want to take a vacation. You got the money to do it. you could do it as opposed to working or wait until your vacation time to be able to go on a vacation. It's just time flies. Like I remember being in high school and people telling me like, oh, when you get out of high school, time gonna fly. Man, they ain't lie. I look up now and I'm older, and my kids older. And all the while, I can't wait to see my son walk. And then I can't wait to see him do this. All the while, I ain't understanding that time just elapsing fast. And that's why, I say that time is the most valuable thing that we as people have. More than money, more than everything, because it's a short life. Shout out to Drake. It's a short life. And though, people put a lot of bad things out there saying YOLO. Yeah, you only live once, but don't be an idiot. Don't go out here and do nothing that may have you doing hard time. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a fool. But, live your life with purpose. Do things that make you happy. That's what they mean by YOLO and Carpe Diem. Things like that. But, I was sitting back and, when you look back at old yearbooks and things like that. And y'all remember when the fine girl in school or the fine guy in school, ladies, everybody in school wanted them. And then 20 years later, you see them and you're like, man, the years ain't been kind to this person. But you look good. You feel good about yourself. You say, I took good care of myself. Or you see the girl or the guy that was just okay. And then now 20 years later, they look like a hot commodity. It's funny. It's funny how things work out. You get all your hairline start receding, you get a sunroof up top, you lose some teeth, and you ain't that handsome debonair dude that you thought you would. Put on some weight, and the same thing for the ladies, And it's just hard because, in that span, people go through a lot of different things, ups and downs and rough patches in life that, where they just trying to survive and you just trying to live, But I think back to all the old shows that I used to watch and, Martin and Sanford and Son and things like that. And, I look at all the advancements now and I want to ask all the people out there, think about some of the advancements that's happened now as opposed to when you were younger. Or for the people that's younger that grew up with these advancements. Think about back, when your parents were younger and the things that they didn't have. Like right now, GPS is everything, right? Like people can't do anything without GPS. But I remember vividly going everywhere without a GPS. I didn't need a GPS to get me. You told me you live on 104th and Eggleston. Okay. I just had to use my better mind to figure it out. Like it wasn't any GPS or like a cell phone. Everybody got a cell phone. I remember when we didn't have cell phones, you know what I'm saying? But we still made it. And it's crazy to see how we still thrive regardless of the situation. But then it's also amazing to see how when we have these new things, how we feel like, how did we ever make it? You know what I'm saying? But I will say this for this time and era. This is the worst dressing time and era I've ever seen. Now, I talked to my father, and he said the 70s are the worst time for dressing. And I guess I could see that, because when I look back at old movies and stuff, guys ain't out here wearing platinum shoes with bell bottoms and a fish in them and things like that. So right now, I can't foresee 20 years from now, guys wearing these big, dirty looking shoes that's designer, in these tight pants and things like that, and just unkept. You know what I'm saying? I'm from a time period where getting your hair cut weekly or bi-weekly was the thing. Making sure your shoes was clean and your pants had creases in them was that. Like you presented yourself in a certain way. And if you couldn't present yourself in a certain way, you ain't even want to go to wherever you was going. Now, I see people, they just pop out however. You know what I'm saying? And it just shows me that, times is different. You know what I mean? You see sports, times is different than that. The evolution, they say the evolution of things. But is it really an evolution? Do everything get better? Yeah, now TVs got better. You ain't carrying around no big back ass TV that you almost got a hernia trying to lift. So these new sleek TVs and things, they are a luxury. You know what I'm saying? And automatic start. That's a luxury for all my Chicagoans out there who braving through the hard winters. So it is a lot of luxuries, but I want all of y'all that's listening to think about some of the things that made you happy when you were younger that may not be around. Though you got all these advancements now, think about some things that you didn't, that was simple, that made you happy. Like, I look at the video games. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Remember, we just had 16-bit, 8-bit games. We was happy than a mug blowing that Nintendo game. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get it to work. Start, reset, pushing it down. Just trying to get it to work and everything like that. So, I just want y'all to reminisce a little bit. It's okay to live in the moment, but it's also okay to be nostalgic. You know what I mean? It's just like, you see some people, but at the same time, some people can't shake a certain time or a certain era. Like, it's just like your uncle who's still rocking a semi-Jerry curl and Gators or Stacey Adams everywhere he going. He still got long fingernails with pinky rings and things like that. That was his era. Though we laugh at it, that was his era that he felt like he was golden, and when I was younger, I didn't used to get it, but now I understand. Like, everybody got a time where, like, the girl that's still wearing a French roll. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might see her, you're like, man, this woman got a French roll. French rolls ain't been popular since the early mid-90s. But that was her era. That's when she thought she was the cutest or the hottest, and she ain't never been able to let it go. So, at the same time, you got to move on with the times. You got to get with the times. But, we can't forget the times that made us feel alive and vibrant. You know what I mean? And when I see people like that, you got the uncle that's still doing the old handshake. Or you got the auntie who still, still haven't got proper utensils to bake with because she just like doing it the old way she used to do from 1979. And that's cool as long as it still come out good and as long as you're still a good person, I guess, that's all that matter. So I was sitting around and I came up with a good question. Like, if you could use time as currency, meaning money for the people who are stupid. No, I'm just joking, y'all. Shout out to everybody out there. But if you could use time as currency or money, and it broke down to like 10-1. So meaning, if every 10 years you could go back, it'd cost you a year off of your life right now. What year would you go back to? And when you came back into the current time, that many years, 10-1, that many years would be taken off your life. Is it any time that's worth it to you? Is it any era? Or is it any specific date and time that you would want to go back to, but, lose time in your current date life? I want y'all to think about that for a minute. Because, we always sitting back thinking, man, if I could just do that again, or if I could just go back to that time, I would in a minute, and I know it's a lot of things that's worth it, going back to, but I look at a bunch of different things and, family ain't family no more. I grew up in a time where, people got together, even though they didn't get along, they got together. Now, people, they move further away on purpose just so they don't have to deal with people, and a lot of it have to do with a lot of different things. When you know better, you do better. And I grew up in a time where the good thing about this era is that it's the information era. So having the internet and having access to information has allowed people to be real savvy in their day-to-day lives and see things that they hadn't saw before. So it naturally makes you want to, expand on who you are. And, okay, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I never heard of it, but I like to go out there. So whereas before, you just may have seen it in the magazine. Now things are possible. It's possible to go places and do things that people thought were impossible 30 years ago. So but I do miss a lot of things from the past. I miss some great restaurants we had, growing up. I miss certain styles and certain shoes and certain feelings. You remember Fridays in Chicago, Fridays or Saturdays. You get off work or you get out of school and you may didn't even have much money, or your parents didn't even have much money, or your grandma and them didn't even have much money. But, that might have been a specific day, oh, you getting chicken, or we getting Italian beefs, or, whatever, something good to eat. It ain't much going on, but, you felt alive because it was Friday. You knew you was going to get something good to eat. And that just made, it was a good cap off for a good week, So everybody think back to some times that put a smile on your face. Everybody take a second right now as y'all are listening to my voice. And just zone out for a minute and just think about a time that put a smile on your face, or a person, or a parent, or somebody that you lost. Just take the time and think about it. All right, now, some of y'all motherfuckers taking too long. No, I'm just joking. But, sometimes it's good to sit back and reflect on time and everything. Some of my greatest times is when I didn't have no money. Who else can relate to that? Now it's like, you look back on times when you didn't have no money and you see the struggle, but you also see something that was beautiful about it. Like, you understand that, you grew. You grew from it. And that's another good thing about time if you're doing it right. Like, as time evolves and moves forward, we hope to get better with it. Like, I got a great story. With me and T-Time, we've been together for years, and of course, she off the cuff, she live, she in your face, she gonna tell you how she feel and everything like that. But we was in Atlanta, and we was in Stone Mountain actually, and we had been up there for a few days, and so our trip had come to an end, and we was about to head home. So it was just one of them ends to like, okay, we had a great time, but we ready to go. But we hungry, so we gonna gas up, and I think it was like a Checkers. And so shout out to the Checkers, shout out to Stone Mountain, and anybody that's in Stone Mountain know the Checkers I'm talking about. So the Checkers, it's crazy. Like, it's a lot of people out there. There's a lot going on. But we order our food and we go around the drive-thru, and there's people everywhere. People soliciting, people trying to sell you stuff, homeless type people, everything. All alongside this one drive-thru. And like I say, the people in Stone Mountain know the Checkers I'm talking about. So as we getting close to pay for our order, we're about two cars back, 3 cars back. It's a couple of dudes out there selling stuff. So my natural instinct is just, I'm interested, looking to see what they got. The dude got some Dove soap. So T-Time, she kind of irritated at that point or whatever. And, of course, for safety reasons, you like, oh, let's hurry up and get out of here. So they instantly kind of put her like in a standoffish, bad mood. But me being who I am, I'm just like, oh man, this dude got Dove soap over there. He got some other stuff. Let me, when he come here, I'm gonna see how much he talking about. I got a few extra dollars. But make a long story short, the dude walk up and he like, I got this Dove. So he had like 6 CDs. I don't even know what the CDs was and some other stuff. And I was like, well, man, how much? You know what I'm saying? All this gonna cost you like $5. Real nice dude. As he asked me this, he just study asking me like, oh man, you got all your kids in the car, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he just got kind of like a smile on his face. Or Tea Time, on the other hand, she ready for him to get away from the car. She's like, hurry up, you know, close that window. We don't need that stuff, blah, blah, blah. All the while, dude, he ain't never really changed his enthusiasm or his smile or whatever. And I'm like, all right, man, well, I'm going to give you the $5. You know, hold on one second, let me pay for my food. Now, mind you, we in a drive-thru, just to give y'all an example, just to paint this picture for y'all. We're in a drive-thru, and it's this many people out along the drive-thru. So I get finished paying for my order, and I give him, I think I had $4 singles. And then I got some change out of the ashtray, 4 quarters. And at this point, Tea Time even more frustrated because the dude just walking alongside the car, window down. And he's studying kind of like in amazement that, you know, we had kids and we was in a car and, you know, or whatever. So I give him the money and Tea Time kind of give him the money I hand her the money because he on her side. And she giving the money kind of like, you know, like, you know, all right, go ahead, go away from the car. You know, obviously he ain't in the best type of shape. He ain't in the best type of, you know, hygiene type of thing. You know, look like, you know, maybe he homeless or whatever. Well, I give him the money and he, you know, he like, man, you know, brother, be blessed and blah, blah, blah. And Tea Time like, hurry up, let's leave. And she rolling the window up and he like, hold on. And she like, don't stop, you know, which I understand at the same time because it seemed like it could be something. But I didn't get that vibe from him. Well, I stopped, and he said, man, he came around to my side, and I rolled the window down, and he said, hold on one second. And he was kind of rambling in his hands and his pockets and everything, and he said, hold on one second, man. He said, hold on. And I said, what's going on? Well, the money I had just gave him, he got out of his pocket, and he gave each one of my kids $1, and my little kids, he gave them the change, and he told me that we blessed his day by seeing us being a family. And I said, oh, man, that's your money. You know, this guy looked like he homeless. He looked like he needed it. He said, no, man, I got everything I needed just by seeing y'all. As we drive off, Tea Time felt bad, right? And I said that to say, that may have took him to a time and place in his life where maybe he had a family one day, you know, before. And, you know, who knows? It's a short life, but a lot happens within the span of a lifetime. And at this point in time in his life, you know, maybe everything wasn't should be, but I guess just seeing us triggered something in him that put him in a place of nostalgia and just happiness. All the while, I feel like it taught Tea Time and myself a good lesson that not only can you not judge a book by its cover, or you don't know sometime who might be a blessing to you, but everybody out here ain't bad. And so I said that to say, I told y'all that story to say, if we hadn't experienced that at that point, we could still be walking around or being standoffish and things like that to certain type of people. When some people have lived through experiences and been through times of struggle and things like that, and just your presence bring them a different type of joy. So, you know, be open-minded and things like that, people. You know, and that was just a powerful thing. And, you know, I think a lot of people, a lot of times in your life, it's going to be a time where you have certain things that trigger you or that like hit you in the face to let you know that maybe I should be different, or that's the beginning of a change in you, so that later on down the line, 5-10 years from now, you better off because of that specific incident or that specific thing happening. And to conclude this, y'all, like I said, my guest didn't kind of canceled on me. But shout out to my guests. Hopefully, I still have them on at a later date. But my song of the week this week is by Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Reminisce, just fitting with the topic time in the How Much series, part 2. And my quote of the day is, don't rush. Don't rush. And my legend of the week is my Uncle Clark. Now, thinking about this whole time thing, it made me think of my Uncle Clark. And as I get into telling you about him and my legend of the week, you'll understand why. Now, my Uncle Clark, he is probably like the joy of the family. I mean, anybody ever have a family member that just like everybody kind of gravitate to, everybody get along with, everybody love or happy to see around? Well, that's my Uncle Clark. And when I tell you this guy is the most even keeled guy I've been around, never up too high, never down too low. Whether he got money or he ain't got no money, you wouldn't know because he always the same. Mr. Consistency as far as his personality. He's a fashionista before the term was ever invented. I remember my fondest memories being a kid and him rocking a 2-piece or a 3-piece suit, pinstripe blue, white shirt on, crisp shirt on under, and he rocking some Forces. Not Air Forces, but just Nike Forces for all the people that's from that era that understand. Or just some fly high tops. With the suit on, no tie. Top shirt unbuttoned. Top button unbuttoned on the shirt. Chris lining. Always got his hair trimmed up nice. Fresh shaved every day. So, that impacted me now as a man. I think back to that. And even at that time, I used to be like, man, when I grow up, I'm going to make sure I try to keep myself together. I'm going to make sure I try to be as groomed or as fly as my Uncle Clark. Now, that makes him my legend of the week. But also, my Uncle Clark, he dealt with, addiction throughout his life. And he overcame all that. And even in the midst of his addiction, I still never seen him out of character or be something that I regret seeing. And that's just seeing his children now is a reflection of the man that he is because they love him. They went on to be successful in their lives. So I know his impact was felt some kind of way. To see him come out on the other side and be a great grandfather, uncle, son, on top of he's still a fashionista and I ain't rocking the salt and pepper. Shout out to my Uncle Clark. He recently had been going through some health ailments. So I wanted to make sure I let him know that he was my legend of the week. One time for my Uncle Clark, everybody. I love you, my man. Thanks for the impact that you've had on me, as well as, I'm sure, plenty of these other people that seen you walking downtown Chicago with a black suit on and some high tops with a crisp shirt and a watch. So my Uncle Clark, my legend of the week. Well, I'm going to conclude the show, everybody. I want to say thank you. Again, thank you. Please continue to tune in, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. I love the support. I appreciate the support. Don't forget my Twitter is @ProsVols, capital P, capital V. Send me a shout out. Send me a question. If you're an artist, send me some music. Come on the show. I want to showcase that. That's another thing I want to. Anybody that got some talent that I know that want to, take a part of the show to showcase your talent, sing, rap, whatever, promote. You got a business. I support who support me. So I want to thank y'all again. Once again, everybody who knows. It's your boy Big Nard signing off. Another week of the podcast and the books. Coming at you strong next week with something bigger and better. Sorry for the delay, but I'm here now. Stay up, everybody.